brings you here today?
I'm going crazy.
Well, don't beat around the bush. Jump right in.
I'm going nuts. I'm nuts. I've always been nuts. They've been telling me I have this depression for years, but they're wrong. I used to have an eating disorder. They're always giving me Prozac. I know, you'll probably give me Prozac too, which, okay, I understand. You have to give me something, though I should mention that if you had something other than Prozac, I would be open to trying it, just so you know. In fact, I'm open to pretty much anything at this point. I'm kind of desperate. Kind of really desperate. Not to make a fuss or anything. I don't want to overstate my case. I don't want to be malingering. Do you think I'm malingering? Once a nurse told me I was malingering when I told her Prozac was making me crazy. What exactly is malingering?
Well, it's when you're making a big deal out of nothing. Making your symptoms seem worse than they are.
See? Exactly. I don't want to be malingering. I definitely don't want to make something out of nothing.
You're not malingering.
Well, that's good. But anyway, really, now that I think of it, this really is nothing. It's not such a big deal. I'm not crazy. I'm not wandering around with a grocery cart full of newspapers and cans talking to myself. I talk to myself a little, but not in a crazy way. Doesn't everybody talk to themselves? Okay, by the way, oh my gosh. I'm going on and on. I know you're busy. I know you must have millions of patients. Have I used up my time already?
No.
Do you mind if I look around?
Not at all.
So I get up and go over to his bookcase and read all the titles and look at the framed photos and laugh at the little framed cartoon. A man is lying on a couch, yammering on, and the doctor writing totally nuts on his little pad. And I go over to the window and hop up on the sill and swing my feet a little, then hop back down and come back and sit in my chair.
All better?
Nope.
Has anyone ever mentioned the word mania to you?
I've heard the word before, obviously. I've just never heard it applied to me. Is that what you're saying?
It was, yes. What does mania mean?
Mania, well, going around like a maniac, I guess.
Now that I think about it, that doesn't sound so off.
Sort of. Anyway, you're right. You don't seem depressed. You seem like you've got lots of energy.
I do indeed. Indeed, I do.
Is there a pattern to the swings? Swings? What did you say, stages? Do you have any idea when the stages come and go? You know when they happen during the day, right? Do you see any pattern over, say, a few months?
No, sometimes they happen, sometimes not. I'm just kind of moody, which is kind of an issue. I'm really insanely moody right now. I'm out of my head moody. I can't stand it. I'm going nuts, as I said.
What's happening?
I'm having these rages. I kind of go into these insane rages, wind up smashing all kinds of shit and throwing things and hollering and crying.
Any particular reason?
No, that's the thing. It just happens. It comes out of nowhere. Well, it happens at night, usually. At night I'm crazy. In the morning I'm flat. So at night I have these rages and destroy all this shit and horrible and awful, and then in the morning I wake up and look at it and kind of want to die. Not die. I never really want to die. But I'm not depressed. For God's sakes.
Ever wish you were dead?
I consider it.
I wish I wasn't crazy.
Ever attempted suicide?
Not exactly.
Let me ask you a couple of questions.
The questions are endless, and with each one, I feel a little crazier. But I also start to feel like he might know what's going on, which might mean there's something he could do.
You said you had an eating disorder. How long ago?
Started when I was 9. I finally started getting a handle on it a couple of years ago, when I was about 20.
What about cutting? Any history of cutting?
A little bit. Ages ago.
I'm torn between wanting his help and not wanting to seem crazy. The cutting was crazy. I don't care to elaborate.
What about drinking? Drugs?
Drinking? I suppose so, yes. But not too much. Nothing that would cause concern.
I'm thinking, drinking? All the time, until I can't see. Until the crazies go away. I drink myself sane. I'm not about to tell him that. That's the last thing I want him to know. I'll tell him anything he wants to hear, except the drinking. It's my last hope to keep myself from going totally over the edge.
Do you have a habit of being impulsive? Things like shopping, making snap decisions, taking sudden trips?
The more he asks, the less I can answer. Snap decisions, always. Shopping, until I've gone nearly broke. Trips, I just took a trip, lit off at night, drove 600 miles to see an old friend on a whim.
What about sex?
I slept with a friend too, without thinking about it, then felt like shit.
Not to pry, but would you say you sleep with a lot of people? More than you mean to? Sometimes it feels like you don't want to, but can't stop.
For as long as I can remember, I can't begin to count the beds, the nights when it felt easier to just close my eyes than get myself home.
Do your thoughts race?
That's it. That's what I mean when I say I'm crazy. I can't get my thoughts to stop. It's torture. It's hell.
Do you ever feel like you're not in your body? Like you're numb?
Yes.
When?
Sometimes during the rages, sometimes when I'm really happy, it comes and goes.
Does it bother you?
I don't know. It's just weird. It feels like I might just go flying off.
How far apart are the mood swings?
He keeps saying that. What's he talking about?
Every few months, weeks, days?
I wouldn't know about mood swings. It's nothing that specific. It's just, I don't know.
Now that I think about it, it's obviously fucking mood swings.
I'd give anything just to be normal for an entire day.
What about sleep? Do you sleep? Can't fall asleep or can't stay asleep? Wake up early even when you don't want to?
I would sell my soul for a good night's sleep. I lie awake for hours, then prowl the house all night. By morning, everything feels surreal.
Nightmares?
When I sleep,
What about work? What kind of work do you do? Do you find it hard to work? Easy? Can you stop working or do you just keep going?
I'm a writer. I write and write. I would write until I was dead. The same way dogs will eat and keep eating until they die. I can't stop, and then suddenly, I have nothing to say. It goes away. The words are all gone.
Do you ever feel hopeless?
The word yawns open in my chest.
Not really.
But sometimes?
Sometimes.
When?
When I stop to think about it.
About this?
About any of it. About being crazy. It's getting worse. It's getting harder to think about it.
Does anything help?
A drink? Not really. No.
Nothing. Nothing makes it go away. He finally scribbles something on his notepad and clicks his pen. He looks at me.
You don't have depression, that's for sure.
No shit!
What a relief.
You have bipolar disorder.
Is that the same as manic depression?
The very same.
You're joking.
I'm serious.
That's crazy. I mean, manic depression? That's crazy.
Depends on how you look at it. I wouldn't say it's crazy. I'd say it's an illness.
Bipolar disorder. Do you take Prozac for that?
Not a chance. You're right that Prozac makes you feel crazy. I'm going to prescribe a mood stabilizer. It should help.
My chest floods with a mixture of horror and relief. The relief comes first. Something in me sits up and says, "It's true. He's right. He has to be right. This is it." All the years I've felt tossed and spit up by the forces of chaos. All the time I've spent spinning away from the real world, the known world, off in my own aimless orbit. All of it over. Suddenly the solar system snaps into place, and at the center is this sun. I have a word. Bipolar. Now it will be better. Now it has a name, and if it has a name, it's a real thing, not merely my imagination gone wild. If it has a name, if it isn't merely an utter failure on my part, if it is a disease, bipolar disorder, then it has an answer. Then it has a cure. At least it has something that should help. So, I'm crazy as a coot, mad as a hatter. End of story. That's all, folks. Now you can all go home. I'm sure, sitting here in the doctor's office, that there's no final cure for the truly insane. I'm no longer young, wild, crazy, a little nuts. I'm a crazy lady. I knew it all along.
I'm crazy, I just can't sleep. I'm so